So I love sales funnels. It's kind of weird to say that, but I love planning them. I love implementing them. I've just seen so many businesses go from the trash can to completely dominating in their niche by simply adding a funnel to their marketing plan. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add ClickFunnels style upsells, bump offers, all of that goodness to your WordPress website with a brand new version of a plugin that maybe you haven't heard of yet. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? It's Dave here from Profitable Tools, and today we're looking at WooFunnels. Version 2 has just come out, or it's just about to be released. I want to explain to you exactly what's going on here. I was provided early access to a version 2 beta, and that's what you're going to be seeing inside of this video. This is not a sponsored video. The opinions inside of this video are my own. I'm going to tell you what I don't like about it and what I do like. Serves me no good to actually recommend products that suck. You won't watch my videos anymore. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this thing functions. So here's the back end of a WordPress website. I've just got WooCommerce installed. I'll show you what products I have here. I just added these in like standard products. I've got a couple of bump offers, a few upsells, and then a main product here I call demo product. They're just simple virtual products without any shipping associated with them. They all have prices, and I've set up Stripe so that I can actually accept payments. So doing all of that was totally free. WooCommerce is free. You can download it right from the WordPress repository. Getting set up with Stripe is totally free. WooFunnels, on the other hand, is a paid extension for WooCommerce that allows you to take your standard products and turn them into full ClickFunnels style sales sequences. So the idea here is that you'll get a sales page, an elaborate custom checkout. You can do bump offers, you can do upsells and downsells, and of course, end with a nice custom thank you page. So I'm going to show you how all of that works here and kind of give you my reactions as we go. So obviously I already have WooFunnels installed. We're looking at the dashboard right now. We'll come back to that a little bit later on, but let's get right into building a funnel. So I'm going to click over here on funnels and I'm going to choose add new. I'll give the funnel a title and let's go. So one thing that I find really cool about WooFunnels is that they make it really easy to distinguish between whether you're building a sales funnel or whether you're building an opt-in funnel. So a sales funnel is going to be obviously selling a product, and an opt-in funnel is just trying to get people to join your mailing list. Now, speaking of email lists, WooFunnels does have another product called Autonomy, which is basically an email marketing application. I'll be reviewing that a little bit later on, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. All right, so for this video, I do want to make a sales funnel, and I'm using the Elementor page builder. If we click on this, you can see that you can also use Divi, or what they say is other. So what other means is that you can use any page builder you like, but you're going to have to rely on your own design, and you'll be using short codes rather than, like in my case, I'm going to be using Elementor, and there's dedicated Elementor widgets. Now, if I don't want to bring in the whole funnel, I can choose up at the top what kind of page I'm looking for. So if I just want a sales page, if I just want a checkout page, I can do that here. But for this case, I might as well just choose an entire funnel. You always have the option to start from scratch. So if you're not the type of person who likes to use templates, you can definitely do it on your own. So looking at just the Elementor templates, there are looks like 9 full funnels for Elementor to choose from. They all have pretty nice looking designs. They're actually a little bit more on kind of like the ClickFunnels style as well. Let's go ahead and preview this one. So this is like a sales page for a supplement, and these buttons just kind of scream out ClickFunnels to me, which I actually think is a good thing. If someone's coming from ClickFunnels, I want to be able to reproduce the look and style of their site and make them feel like they're not going to drop off in conversion, because ClickFunnels is so religious about kind of pounding into people's heads that you have to follow these practices in order to see a good conversion rate increase. So I actually move in my business, I move a lot of customers over from ClickFunnels over to WordPress. So this software might come in handy for me. This is a really nice interface for previewing the sales pages. You can see it's got a nice little mobile responsive selector up at the top here. Overall, the page looks pretty solid. I can go through the different steps of the funnel here. So this is the sales page. Here is the checkout. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. This is the upsell template. And here's the thank you page. All right, this looks good. Why don't we go ahead and import this? All right, so the page imported really quickly, and they've taken me to this screen where I can see the overall flow of the funnel. So basically, we're going to start off with the sales page, go to the checkout page, then we'll hit an upsell, and then we can go to a thank you page. I can add in new steps here. They've got 6 different types of steps. However, I don't really see the need to add multiple steps of the same kind. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But we've got the opt-in confirmation. That's not going to be relevant in this type of funnel because it's not an opt-in funnel. And then we've got the sales page, the checkout page, the upsells, and the thank you. So everything we need is already represented. Now you can see a couple of red badges here on some of these pages. So basically the checkout page does not have a product associated with it, and it also doesn't have a bump offer. So it makes it very clear, hey, you need to do something here. So let's click on edit for this checkout page. So in this next screen, it looks like I can open up the Elementor to edit it. I could also switch my editor here if I wanted to, and I can go over to products in this tab, and this is where I'll actually connect up the product to this checkout page. So I'm just gonna hit add product here. And this is where I'm going to add my main product. So I called that demo. I started typing in demo, and then it goes and searches WooCommerce's product library, finds the closest match. The only thing I'd like to see improved here is maybe an ability to just like, if I don't know what it's called, just click and then drag through, like a list of my products. I think that'd be really helpful, but I guess most of the time you're going to know the name of the product you're trying to sell. All right, so I've added my product. Now it's worth pointing out that on this page, I could actually add additional products. So I don't have to just sell one product inside of my funnel. I have the options at the bottom to restrict a buyer to select any one of the above products. So meaning I can have variations. I could also have the buyer select any of the above products so they could buy multiple. Maybe you have, a few different options and they work together. Or you could force people to buy all of them as one, essentially creating a bundle of different products without having to go ahead and add a separate product inside of WooCommerce. And let's move over to the next section, which is fields. Now, this is probably one of my favorite implementations of this feature in any plugin I've used. So what we're talking about here is the checkout fields, right? So it's going to be asking for someone's name and their billing information and all of that. So the way they did this, I think, is really clever. So we've got sections up here, right? And those can contain the different fields. So the fields are over here on the right, and I can just drag them in. So if I want someone's phone number, I drag that in over the information section. If I don't want to call it your information, I click the little pencil and I could say, give me your info. There we go. It updates. It'll look like that on the checkout page as well. If you decide, hey, you know what? I don't need a shipping address because I'm not shipping anything. You just click the little red box and there you go. It's gone. If you want to add a new section, you can certainly do that. My new section. And here's my new section. It's empty right now, but of course I could go ahead and add things from the right-hand sidebar. Let's say like a coupon field. If you want to add a custom field, you can do that as well. Just add your field in here. You can choose between any type of field that you'd like in terms of checkbox, radio box, dropdown, anything you can think of. It's able to be added to the checkout. That is super nice. You even have the option to show it on the thank you page as well as the order email. For now, we don't really need this section here, so let's go ahead and get rid of that and just point out that you can easily reorder these as well. So just drag and drop, they move around. Adding multiple steps to your checkout process is super easy as well. So the way this would work is, asking someone for their name and address and billing information or shipping information, and then their credit card information all on one page can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you have other questions you want to ask as well. So you can actually break it up into multiple steps. So right here, I'm on step 1, and I can click over to step 2, where we've actually got the shipping method, the products, the order summary, and the payment processing. We can add a third step if we wanted to. By default, the payment is always going to go to the last step. So you can see that it's over here on step 3 and it's not on step 2 anymore. So moving over to the optimizations tab, one really cool feature that I like right out of the gates is the first one. It's Google address auto completion. And what this will do is someone's typing out their address, it will automatically fill it in. You've probably seen this if you ordered a pizza or something, you start typing in your address and then it auto completes to be the correct full postal way of adding an address. This is a really cool feature. It is not free, however. It's free included with WooFunnels, but in order to use this, you need to actually go ahead and add it inside of Google. I'll show you more on how you set this up a little bit later on. The next option down is to auto apply coupons. So if you want to send everybody to a sales page and have a special discount automatically applied, you can do that. The next option is for smart buttons for express checkout. Now that's a mouthful, but what it really means is you're going to add buttons in so that people can pay with things like Apple Pay or Google Pay. Now this has positives and it has negatives. The positive is a lot of people like to pay with those services and they might check out more frequently and complete their checkout if they know it's completely frictionless. They can just, look at their phone and it gets authenticated. The downside to this is it'll actually pull them out of your regular checkout process, meaning the process is now going to go through Apple or through Google, and then any upsells might not get pitched. So that definitely is something to consider depending on how your funnel is laid out. I'll just mention a couple other features I really like here. Preferred countries. So if you want to, most of your customers are, let's say, in the United States, you could turn preferred countries on, and then the preferred country will show up at the top. You just choose which countries are the ones that you want to show up at the top. So rather than if you're in America, you don't have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to find United States. It's way, way down there. There it is. There we go. Now that'll show up at the beginning of my country select list inside of the checkout. There's also the option to do a time checkout expiration. So basically, after a certain number of orders, the checkout can completely close. This can be really good if you've only got a certain number of items to sell, or you're trying to do maybe a special limited time discount. That's a nice option. And you can also close after a certain date. So you don't have to remember to come back and pull that page down or unpublish it inside of WordPress. You can just set that right up when you're setting up your funnel. Honestly, I was really surprised by the fit and finish of this plugin. I was expecting it to be a little bit of a work in progress, but they've got a lot of really detailed things here, like the ability for a pre-fill form for abandoned cart users so that the form automatically gets filled with whatever information you have on someone who's abandoned their cart. You can also do things like auto-filling the state and zip code so that if someone types in their zip code, the state will match, or vice versa. That is super cool and handy. You see that on a lot of the big players, websites, but it's not always there inside of WooCommerce. You might need extra extensions to do that. So it's awesome that's built into the plugin. And this last option down here is super handy if you're going to be direct messaging people and trying to send them to a checkout. Maybe you're, engaging with people in, chat or a webinar or something like that, and you just want them to go right to that checkout. You can go ahead and type in the name of the product right here, how many you want them to buy, a special coupon, and then you'll get a URL down at the bottom. So to show you how this works, I need a product ID to put into this field. I'm going to go over to my products, open this up in a new tab. And here is my product ID for the demo product. It is 1151. We'll head back to the other tab, and I'm just going to type in 1151. And I could fill out any of these other fields if necessary. I'll just do one for the quantity. And you can see it actually gives me a URL right here where I can go ahead and copy and paste this. And it's going to take me right to that checkout page with the proper quantity already filled in. So that is really handy. And finally, well, not finally for the video, finally for the checkout page, we've got some settings here. We can set up our analytics, our custom scripts. So we can do CSS and JavaScript. There's actually some default settings or system-wide settings we can do when we look at the settings a little bit later on this video, but know that you can override them on a checkout by checkout basis. All right, so let's go back to the funnel. We've just edited the second step right here. So our landing page is good to go. I'm not gonna change that for the sake of this video, but I do wanna show you how it works. So let's open up the landing page. And here is the template that we brought in. Now, the way this works is they give you a link essentially. So any buttons on the page, you simply copy this URL, and then let's go ahead and edit this in Elementor. Here, the page is open up in Elementor, and all of these buttons will have that link already pre-added for me. You can see it right over here on the left-hand sidebar. This is exactly the same way other plugins like Cart Flows work. So if you're familiar with that process, this will be instantly at home. Other than just designing the page, there's not a lot of other options for the sales page, the landing page option. This is just going to be adding custom CSS and JavaScript like we saw before. This would override any global settings that you add in the settings, which we'll look at later on. Now let's talk about bump offers, because bump offers are really, really cool. They can completely change your business by simply adding a little offer, maybe at a discount underneath a product someone's already going to buy. Think about when you go buy a car. This is like the standard default example, but I really like this one. You go to buy a car, you're really excited. You only buy a car once every 7 to 10 years or so. And they say, oh, would you like to get the custom floor mats? Do you want to get the coating on the outside to prevent any nicks or scratches? Your wallet's open. They can take as much money out of it as they want. That's the idea with bump offers, is it's the opportunity to give more products to the customer that they want and they're in the mood to purchase because they've already agreed to buy a bigger product. So adding a bump offer is super easy here. You just click on the plus order bump button, and then it asks you to give that order bump a name. You do have the option to clone this from another order bump. So if you're setting up multiple funnels and you want to have similar bumps between different funnels, you can easily do that. But for now, I'm just going to hit add. And now you can see underneath this checkout page, I've got an order bump that doesn't have a product associated with it. So what do you think we're going to do? We're kind of already trained to know what to expect here. I'll click the edit button and then it's going to ask me what product I want. Yep, there we go. Here, I'm going to add in bump 1, which is the product that I created earlier before making this video. And I'm going to add this. Now for my bump offers, you have the option to add a discount in. You can do a fixed discount, a percentage on the regular price, or a percentage on the sale price, which are two different options inside of WooCommerce. If you're not familiar, they have a sale price and a regular price. So we can go ahead and add that discount in here if I want. And I can also add in another product here if I want to as well. Now don't get confused because that's not another bump offer. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. We'll come back to that screen. We got more to talk about here, but I'm gonna go back to my widget funnel and I'm gonna look at my bump offer here. I can actually add a second bump offer. So I could have one bump offer that includes two products, and then I could just have maybe an additional bump offer if you wanted to have, to distinguish them between a bundle of things and a second offer. All right, so here we got my order bump 2, and you can see that this one doesn't have a product associated. So I just go back in here and add my second product. There it is, we'll add it. All right, so this is a $67 product, and I can actually go ahead and customize this a little bit. So let's go into rules. This will be the same for any bump offer. And this feature is really, really powerful. So what I can do here is set up conditional bump order rules. Now I should add, because this gets more exciting, that you can actually set up one of these checkout pages to be your global checkout. So if you have a regular WooCommerce store, you can set up any checkout page to be the global checkout. And then you can have some very intricate bump offer rules to make sure that every time someone's checking out, they get offered a bump offer that's actually interesting to them. So here are the rules that you can add to trigger the order bump. Now, there's a lot of them. I can't really go through every possible combination, but the idea is that you could say if a cart totals above a certain amount, if there's a certain number of items in the cart, maybe that the customer has already purchased a particular product, or it's going to be shipped to a certain area, any sort of discount package you can imagine. Oh, you're getting something shipped overseas. Well, now's a good time to get a little bit extra, save on shipping costs down the road, something like that. You can probably think of a dozen different ways you can implement these rules into your business right away. All right, moving over to the design options here. We've got 4 different design options for our bump offer. So you get the kind of like standard ClickFunnels, animated GIF over here, or GIF, however you like to say it. Let's go ahead and change this to the blue skin here. You can see the demo. I don't have a product description in here. That's why it's lorem ipsum. You can definitely change that over inside of content. You just add, this is an awesome deal, and it updates. We can turn off the product image if you don't want to display that. I kind of like how it looks. And then under the style tab, you can customize all of the colors to your heart's content. If you're not a fan of the blinking arrow, you can of course choose one of the skins that does not have that. So that's how bump offers work. Let's go back and check out upsells. I'll save this design and we'll go back to the overall funnel view. Here's my upsell. Let's go ahead and add a product. I'm going to click on edit. There's no products added. I'll go ahead and add my first upsell here. There we go. So just like in the main product, you can actually add multiple products to your upsell. So you could have a single upsell containing multiple products, or I could go ahead and just add another upsell offer in right here. You see, this is upsell offer 1, and I could actually change the name of it right here if I wanted to be more descriptive. But I can add a second offer in as well, and I'll call this upsell 2. There's 2 different types of upsells. Well, 2 different types of additional offers that we can make. One is an upsell and another is a downsell. So the idea would be that if someone turns down your initial upsell, let's say you're offering, a extra large pizza for $10 and someone said no, we could say, well, how about a medium pizza for $7? That could be your downsell as an example. All right, so let's go ahead and add this next one. I'm gonna stick with the upsell moniker. Let's go ahead and add it. There are more rules to look at here. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but we'll add our second product in. All right, so now I've got upsell 2. This one's turned off. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. We can toggle back and forth between the different upsells. Of course, I can add in a discount here, just like we did with our bump offers. And down below here in the settings, you're gonna see a few things. Some might catch your eye, like this one right here is to apply tags. This is because I also have WP Fusion installed on this website. So Don't get confused. This is not a default feature to add tags. This is a WP Fusion feature. There we go. To prove it to you, I just disabled WP Fusion and then reloaded the page. So those options are now gone. So we've got dynamic shipping. We've got dynamic offer path. So this is really cool. Dynamic shipping, what this is the ability to change the shipping costs based on how many items are added to the order. So you can have a flat shipping rate up here, or you can have dynamic shipping based on how much they actually order. We also have the dynamic order path. So this I think is actually really cool. So if someone accepts this offer, then you can send them to another upsell. So let's say they buy it. Yes, let's go to upsell 2. And if they reject it, maybe I have another product that I want to send them to. So this is where you can kind of route people through your sales process. Really nice way to implement this feature. Not a feature unique to this plugin, but I really like the simplicity at which they laid it out. So here are some features that I do think are unique to this plugin. Skip offer. So what I really like about this is the idea that we can skip making this offer if someone's already bought this product in the past. So you're not going to be kind of inundating them, trying to get them to buy something they already own. That is a really quick way to fatigue your users. People just don't like to be sold something they already own. We can add tracking codes in here. We can have a quantity selector. And then this feature I think is really nice. Seems kind of simple, but you can just say, all right, if they buy this, the funnel is done. Terminate the funnel. We don't need to go. We're gonna go right to the thank you page after this. So maybe that's like, your biggest upsell. If they get this, we're out of here. If you've ever gone through a Frank Kern funnel, what you'll find, and one of my friends made this joke to me, is that you'll run out of money long before he'll run out of offers. There'll be probably 15 or 20 different upsells that'll just keep going and going and going. Really kind of like mind-boggling, almost bewildering at some point. Like, seriously, you're gonna keep selling me more and more stuff? And some of it's a pretty good deal too. So let's go over to the design tab right up here, where we can go ahead and modify how our upsell looks. Of course, we brought in a template when we imported the entire funnel. You can see upsell 1 and upsell 2 are both here in the design tab, but only upsell 1 has the template that we imported. Upsell 2, you can choose a brand new template if you like. So right now it's set to use the customizer. I'm going to choose Elementor as my template, and then I could literally pull in the exact same upsell offer if I wanted to. Of course, then I would edit the design to reflect the secondary upsell. So there we go. Now upsell 1 and upsell 2 look identical. Let's go ahead and just edit them a little bit here. All right, so on this product, I'll go ahead and change out this image. Let's make it a juicy hamburger here. I'll insert this. All right, that looks a lot better than that yucky shake that was there before. Let's update this. Now, the only thing that's really missing from this experience is there's no way to get back into my funnel. I actually have to exit to the dashboard, and now I have to go find my funnel again back where I was. So that's a little bit of maybe a troublesome spot that they could kind of just smooth out, make the user experience even better. Have somehow add a back button inside of Elementor to go back to the editing of the upsell options. All right, so here I am back where I was inside of the upsell. I do want to mention that that rule sequence that we saw inside of the bump offers, that is available inside of upsells as well. In fact, you can target specific products. It's a little bit more advanced even for upsells because we can target specific products to have specific upsell rules. So this is really, really great for a global checkout where you want to have, when someone buys a specific product, they go to a specific upsell, but you don't want to go ahead and build out a million different flows or different funnels. So really, really cool, and happy to see this feature here. It's kind of what we were expecting another WordPress plugin to have added by now. It was kind of, there was going to be a rules feature built into a different plugin, which some of you may know what I'm talking about, but really cool to see this actually here in real life. All right, so let's go ahead and we got to finish up on our funnel here. Then we'll check out the whole funnel and I'll show you some more of the back end settings. We're going to go down to the thank you page. There's a rules sequence here for thank you pages as well, so that you could have different thank you pages. Again, this is all kind of related to that global checkout idea. Different pages based on what different people do. So different products can send you to a particular page. So let's say it contains at least one bump to, or another thing, we can send them to a different thank you page. But more or less, the thank you page is exactly what you think it's going to be. You can open it up in Elementor and make any design changes that you want, colors, branding, logos, things like that. I'll just show you a little bit inside of Elementor here because we haven't really dug too deeply into what it's like to use the page builder with the tool. So you can see up here, there is some short codes that are just placed inside the headings. You don't really need to mess with those. It's going to go ahead and fill out your customer's name here, your customer's email address, and their order number. And then, of course, the order information is all right here. There is a few different elements inside of Elementor that come with Funnel Builder Pro. So let me go ahead and open those up for you. Here it is, WooFunnels. It's got the order details and the customer details. That's all we really need here. So we've got our order details right here, and then we've got the customer details right over here. There's this option at the top to show the personalization tag. So I can click on this and it'll show me all of the personalization tags. So if I wanted to add the customer's first name, their order number, so on and so forth, I can easily grab that right here inside of Elementor. I think that's a pretty nice touch. All right, so heading back over to the funnel, and you know what? I think my complaint from earlier is they actually opened up the editor in a new tab. So that's their solution. Maybe they could find a way to work you back into the funnel. I don't like having, if I'm working in this for a long time, what would end up happening to me is I'd have probably 3,000 different tabs open with different products here. So maybe that's one area of improvement, but overall, as you can tell, I'm pretty stoked about this plugin. Okay, so all that's left to do is to actually go through this funnel and make sure everything's working properly and see what it's like as a user. So I'm back over inside of my funnels and I'm gonna click on view for the one we've been working on. And here is the landing page, or the sales page as I prefer to call it. We'll scroll down, you can see everything, see what it looks like. I'd say overall, from my taste, it's just a little bit wide. The template is a little bit wide. Overall, it's fine. The design is fine. If I hover over this button, it's going to take me to the checkout page. This looks fairly good. Auto-completes with my name and what I'd entered in earlier on when I was just initially testing the plugin. I use my first name, Testerson. Then I've got my street address we'll add in here. All right, very nice, clean, easy to use. I can change the quantity of products over here, or I can actually even remove that product. That's kind of weird. I'm sure there's a way to turn that off, but for now, let's go ahead and move to the next step. All right, so I'm using Stripe in test mode right now. I'm gonna go ahead and check out with that using the test credit card. Here are the bump offers. Remember, we had two different bump offers and they both had a different style. So the first one's got the blinking arrow and that's got a checkbox. The second one has an add button. So I probably would recommend, and if I ever used this in production, I would definitely use the same style of button so that it's not confusing for users like, oh, I check a box here to buy something, and then I click over here to buy another thing. All right, so that is good to go. Just kind of a consistency thing that would bother me. Let's go ahead and complete the order. Now this should take us over to the first upsell. All right, there we go, our exclusive offer. And it filled in my name, Test. I've got the button here to add it to my order. Let's do that. All right, congratulations. Fairly snappy, moving really quick. This is not on a beefy server at all. It's just my testing server. So it is in the cloud. It's not hosted locally. All right, and I've got the second bump offer here. This one's for the cheeseburger. I'm gonna go ahead and add that one as well. All right, and here's my thank you page. I've got a list of everything that I bought, which was the entire funnel here, and the billing address, as well as my email address. This is a decent looking thank you page. I'm pretty happy with that. Got our support information down there. All right, funnel's looking great. All right, so last but not least, I just want to show you some more of the fit and finish features that really kind of impressed me. So starting off with just going over to the funnels in general. So this is the dashboard. We're gonna look at that still, but the funnels in general, right? So I could go ahead and import or export funnels. That's all there right now. That's good to see. Sometimes those types of features get added, later on or promised and then never get added. If I click on the triple dots over here, I can see the analytics. I can see the contacts for each funnel. So who's actually gone through and purchased this funnel. So here's the purchase we just made. I can duplicate a funnel. I think that's important. Right here, I can see the analytics for the funnel. That's also viewable if we click in. Obviously, you can see analytics there as well. So you can see the overall revenue for that particular funnel. If you want to see how your entire site is doing funnel-wise, now obviously WooCommerce has their own analytics, which are great in my opinion. But inside of WooFunnels, you can go over to the dashboard, and the dashboard will show you how many total customers you have, what products are most popular, recent activities that have been going on. So overall, I find the dashboard giving me most of the information that I would like to see. When I say most, what I'd really like to see is maybe some negative things as well, rather than just seeing top performing products. I'd also like to see maybe most turned down products or top abandoned landing pages, like pages that don't have a good click through onto the next step. so that I could address those. Show me some kind of conversion rate metrics there. I think it would be really, really powerful. I'm over in settings now and underneath permalinks, and I love this very simple feature, and I'll explain why. So permalinks inside of this Funnel Builder Pro from WooFunnels is set up so that each type of page has its own permalink. Now, this is different than other similar funnel builder plugins that I've used, in which they had kind of a placeholder for all pages related to it. So like all funnels would be called maybe like an offer or something like that. The problem I ran into there was with caching, because I don't want to cache checkout pages, upsell pages, or thank you pages, things that are going to be dynamic and adding things to their order or having, personal shipping information. But I always want to cache sales pages because there's nothing on there that can't be cached. That's all just going to the next page. So my point with this is, by having individual permalinks, it's very easy for me to exclude that entire, subgroup, that entire folder, that entire directory from caching, especially when I'm using server level caching, where I have to actually do this at the server level. So that is a huge benefit. It might not apply to the average person out there, but I guarantee you somebody out there is jumping out of their seat saying, oh, that's brilliant. That's such a simple fix to an otherwise very irritating problem for those of you who use server level caching. Another fit and finish thing I was surprised to see under Facebook Pixel, they have support already for Conversion API. So that's really important for people, dealing with iOS 14.5 issues. Conversion API is built in, as well as all of the other standard events that you'd like to see for your Facebook marketing analytics. Then we've also got Google Analytics options, similar options for events, Google Ads. It has conversion events built in, and Pinterest also has purchase events built in. So really cool to see support for those major players there. Then you'll see up at the top here, we've got sales pages, opt-in pages, checkouts, order bumps, one-click upsells. These are all going to contain specific settings for each one of them, but I do want to point out that you can have custom scripts on each custom type. So basically a sales page can have its own CSS, a sales page can have its own JavaScript that you add, and then on a single page, you can override those. We saw those settings a little bit earlier, but maybe that's making sense now. So we can have global system-wide scripts, and then on each individual page, you can override them. That's true for opt-in pages as well. There's going to be additional things like you can have email options here, spam protection, so you can integrate with reCAPTCHA. Let's see, what else is really interesting? Under tools, we can index past orders. So if you're adding this to your website right now, and you've already got a few thousand orders on it, if you index your past orders, what that's going to do is let WooFunnels keep track of who's bought what, so that their rules are extra up to date. After you've done that initial indexing, then it's going to keep track on the fly, and you won't have to do that ever again. But that's really cool to see that they have the option to, okay, let's go back and let's just make sure we've got all the information on the customers that we have, so that all of the rules can suggest the best products possible. All right, just a few more things, I promise. Under checkouts, we've got the global checkout. I mentioned that throughout the video. So you go ahead and set up your checkout as a regular checkout page under funnels, and then you go back here and set up the global checkout. You can go crazy with rules here so that it's directing to upsells and bump offers based on the products that are actually in the checkout. And then you have your normal kind of blob e-commerce style shopping, where people are scrolling and looking for interesting items, and then still get redirected to the nice looking checkout page with relevant upsells and bump offers. All right, so address autocomplete. I mentioned this throughout the video. Here's a little animation of how it works. So you'd see that little drop down if you implement with this, but you do need to set this up through Google Maps, and you have to purchase an API key. So this is not free. You can go over to the Google Maps platform page. I do believe it was kind of on the pricier side. Not extremely expensive. You get $200 a month free, so that's cool, but I don't think it includes the tool that we want to use, which would be, let's see, under places, autocomplete, $17 per 1,000 requests. So that's really not that bad, unless you're just getting tons of traffic and have a very low conversion rate, then I could see it being kind of a bad thing. It does look like you get the $200 free because that's included in places. All right, the last thing that really impressed me about this plugin, and it could really be its own dedicated video, is they've got an entire A/B testing suite built right in, and it's really pretty advanced. There are some tweaks I'd love to see them make to improve it and make it a little bit more useful. But the idea here is you can create, it's under experiments, that's what it's called. It's a separate plugin, although it's included with your license. So you install this plugin if you're going to use A/B testing. You choose what page you want to A/B test. So I'll do, let's say, a sales page. Select the original variant, so it'll show you all of your sales pages. We can name this, and then we create the experiment. So what it's going to do is find that original page, and then you can duplicate it and make a change to it. Now, A/B testing is a complete art and science all to itself. Typically, the way it would work is you'd make one small change to a page and then allow a certain number of users to visit the page and see which one was getting the best results. Now, typically, you'll weight the original page a little bit heavier. So we can actually configure our traffic here so that, let's say, the original page, which is up here, is getting maybe 70% of the traffic, and then the new variant will get 30% of the traffic. All right, I'll hit update here, and then I'd actually want to go into the page and make that change. So now that that's updated, I can edit the page, open it up in Elementor, and what I want to do is just change my button color. So I'll click on the button, and I'll change the style to maybe be, oh, I don't know, how about this reddish color? Okay, that looks good. Of course, I'd want to change the hover color and then update all of the other buttons as well. You get the point. That would be a variant. So 30% of the traffic would be seeing that different color button. Now here is where I'd like to see them improve this process, because if I go back to my experiment, so I can see my variants and I can see that it's automatically weighting the traffic. But the one thing it's missing is the ability to automatically choose a winner. So things like Google Optimize will do this for you, where after a certain number of visits, you can say, all right, whatever's ahead at this point, let's just send all traffic to that. And at that point, you could set up another test to run. So I'd love to see maybe a winner being declared after, X number of thousands of visits. More people are clicking through when, that button is changed. So let's just make it that the standard button, and then the other page gets erased, and you can start testing another variable. In the analytics tab, you can see, what is getting the most views, how much is converting for each side. Get a detailed performance breakdown from each one of them. But I just love to have that extra bit taken care of in terms of choosing a winner. All right, so that's going to do it. So as you can tell, I am really impressed with WooFunnels Funnel Builder Pro. I'm excited to look at their email marketing application, Autonami. I'll be putting out a video for that later in the week. So if you're not already, make sure you get subscribed. If you have any questions about this tool, make sure you leave me a question down below, or you can head over to our Facebook group. I'm always around there as well. It's going to do it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.